Hold on, we need some music for this. Which song do you think's appropriate? Oh, why am I such a weirdo? Okay. I don't want to like have all of the like the bookmarks and stuff in the top. I guess we'll just do it like this. Like really annoying. Close enough. It's more fun to be weird than normal. True. Okay. Now I need to go to one of my millions of open Chrome tabs. Why did I get a bunch of viewers? Oh no. Okay, so we're gonna have our tiers. We're gonna need like... I'm gonna do it like I do it with 3 houses. Dominant and Alpha. Okay. We got a lot of tiers. Very rainbow colored. Alright. I guess we'll just go alphabetically, because I think that's how they're ordered on the tier list. Arthur. He doesn't- okay, Arthur doesn't really give me, like, I could see him as, like submissive alpha. Or like, but, like, he really gives me more, like, beta vibes, right? Just like his personality, you know? Because, like, he's like, I'm gonna go with dominant beta, okay? Because the justice thing, like, definitely gives me more dominant vibes, but I don't think he's, like, alpha enough, you know? Asugi. Okay. Asugi, I could go dominant Omega, or I could go submissive alpha, but I'm not entirely sure. I think if I want the angst, I would put him in Omega, because I think Saizo is going to be an alpha, and I think that's going to be like a whole thing with like his father's expectations of him or whatever. But I could also see him as like an alpha who just like isn't that into it, like isn't that into being an alpha, but for now, I think I'm going to go dominant Omega, okay? Horin, I think I can put pretty squarely in dominant Omega. So he can ride Shiro exactly. Okay, Korin I think fits pretty squarely in dominant Omega if we want to. Azama, submissive alpha. He's a clown, right? He's a clown, but he seems like he wants somebody to like be in charge of him. Azura. I think for Azura, I vibe more on the Omega spectrum. But I wouldn't say she's submissive, but I wouldn't say she's necessarily dominant either. So I'm gonna go either way for her. Benny, submissive beta vibes. Oh yeah, okay. Maybe I should get into more like of what my thought process is here. Like, I feel like alpha, beta, omega, I feel like everybody's already familiar with if they know Omegaverse. Dominant alpha, I feel, are like the top of the pack, like the highest of the high status, right? And submissives are like, submissive alphas are more like under the dominant alphas, but they're still alpha, right? And then just keep that logic, right? It's all a hierarchy, actually. Veruca, I could see either way alpha for her. Hildori... Okay, I'm gonna go with dominant alpha. Because I think I'm gonna put Tsubaki in like dominant omega. Because I want there to be some tension there. Camilla, dominant alpha, don't even need to think about it. Charlotte, also dominant alpha, don't even need to think about it. Dwyer gives me omega vibes. He could be our first submissive Omega. Effie could go either way alpha, I'm thinking. Felicia, submissive Omega. Well, I could also see her as a submissive alpha, though. I'm gonna go with submissive alpha for now. Flora gives me beta vibes. Not even like a particularly assertive beta. It can be an either way beta. Forest, either way Omega. Because I feel like he's more dominant than submissive, but I don't think he's like fully dominant. Gunter can go straight into the trash can, but maybe submissive beta. I'm feeling it. Hana, I think Hana gives me like alpha vibes. Maybe could go either way alpha. Hayato, submissive Omega vibes. Like don't even at me. He's way too insecure about it to not be a submissive Omega. Hinata, submissive alpha. Nope, that one. Because he seems like he needs somebody to order him around, but like that he wouldn't be an Omega. You know what I'm saying? Hanoka, dominant alpha. Well, yeah, dominant alpha. I could also see her as like a dominant beta, but I like her as an alpha. Hisami is like beta vibes as beta vibes come, right? Ignatius, I think he's in the same category as his dad. Like father, like son. Jacob, now Jacob's an interesting one. I'm going with submissive alpha. If you want me to elaborate on any of these, if I just like stick them in a category and you're like, wait, what, why? Go ahead and say it. Jacob is on here twice for some reason. You can go to the bottom of the list. Don't clog up my tier list. Hayden. Now, the furries are an interesting one. Because, like, he gives me alpha vibes, but he also gives me omega vibes. But he doesn't give me beta vibes, so I don't think he's, like, in between. But I feel like he could go into either omega or alpha, depending on, like, the use case. So I think I'm gonna put him in dominant omega for now. Kagero... dominant alpha vibes. Same brain cell rose. Yeah, Kagero, dominant alpha vibes. I can't see anything else for her. She definitely was, like, wearing the pants in her and Saizo's relationship. We all know it. Kanas, I think Kanas are in the same tier as their mom/dad. Kaze, interesting. I've never really thought about Kaze before, right? I mean, okay. So he's like really, like killing it on like the sexiest Fire Emblem characters poll. So he's got like alpha Chad energy, right? But he also like doesn't want to have alpha Chad energy. So I could see him like dominant omega who routinely gets mistaken for an alpha. Eaton, I have the same problem I have with Caden. But I'm gonna put him in submissive alpha. But I think either of them could swap. You know, I think Caden could be a submissive alpha and Keaton could be a dominant omega if we wanted to do it like that. Hiragi is like dominant as hell alpha. Like, he doesn't seem like it as, you know, in how he is now, but he's my little murder muffin. He would absolutely fuck some shit up for his pack. Laszlo, omega vibes, nowhere else to put him. Submissive omega vibes. Leo, Okay, I do headcanon Leo as an alpha. I know some people like him as an omega, but Dante, if you hear anything weird, Dante is like slamming his tail against my microphone arm. He could... I don't know if... Okay. See, personally, I like to think of him as like a dominant alpha, but like I don't think like if I'm really being like honest with myself, I don't think there's enough to support dominant. But I don't think he's submissive either. I'm gonna go either way. Midori could go either way, Omega. Mitama, I kinda get dominant beta vibes. I'm feeling it. Mozu, I think, also goes into submissive Omega. Niles feels... Okay, I fight with myself on Niles. Because he feels like an alpha, but he also feels like an Omega. That's a problem I have with a lot of characters on this tier list, apparently. I'm gonna go with submissive alpha, but I think he could also be a dominant Omega. Rocky destroying both parents' self-esteem without trying. He's a good boy. He's good at that. Nina also gives me dominant beta vibes. Nyx. I think for Nyx, actually, I'm gonna put her in How Do You Do, Fellow Betas. I feel like whatever happened, like, you know, like the curse she inflicts on herself in canon, I feel like that would be like, would also remove her, like, Omegaverse dynamic. So, put her there. Oboro, I could go either way, alpha. I like Oboro and Hinata both as alphas because, spoiler alert, Takami's gonna be an Omega. Odin, also submissive Omega vibes. All Chunis are submissive Omegas. Except for Leo, I guess. Orochi gives me some dominant alpha vibes. Percy... Either way, alpha. Harry... Beta. Dominant beta, I'm thinking. Reina can be a dominant alpha. She can step on me. Rajat, I think, could be either way beta. Rinka, also a dominant alpha. The dominant alphas are really dominated by women, aren't they? So far. Okay, I am gonna put Ryoma in dominant alpha, though. So we have a lot of women, and then Ryoma and Kiragi. Saizo, submissive alpha. Sakura, submissive Omega. Scarlet can also be a dominant alpha. Selena, she's a tsundere. Tsunderes just kind of give me Omega vibes, like, automatically. I'm gonna go either way. Selkie... either way, Omega. Setsuna feels as betas can come. I think Shigure, actually, I would put as, like, submissive beta. He seems like the type. Shiro, I think, either way, alpha. Siegbert, submissive Omega. Just look at him. Silas... I don't know, he gives me, like, either way beta vibes. No, maybe submissive beta. No. Either way. Soleil can be a little alpha as a treat. Submissive alpha. No, either way. Sophie also feels like a beta. Takumi, okay. The question is not if Takumi will be an Omega, it's what kind of Omega will Takumi be. I feel like he's too far on either end of the spectrum to be like an either way Omega, and I don't feel like he's a dominant Omega, so I feel like he has to be a submissive Omega. Valoria kind of gives me the same vibes as Selkie, honestly. Xander's also on here twice. Xander, submissive alpha. I think it's like the angst. Elise feels more like a dominant Omega to me. Tsubaki. Submissive Omega. Mostly based on his conversation with Niles, where he's just like, oh, I just want to, like, give up control. It's, I'm sure you do. Iago. I mean, beta vibes, right? Submissive beta vibes. Moving on. Okay, dragon form Ananko, so I'm gonna go with how do you do, fellow betas. Anna can... dominant alpha. Already. She feels like an alpha. Dominant alpha. Garen, okay, I think when he's the slime monster, he goes into how do you do, fellow betas. But when if we're assuming he's alive, also a dominant alpha. Hans, beta vibes, dominant beta. Lilith, I think, is a how do you do, fellow betas. Makoto, dominant omega. Sumeragi can also be a dominant alpha. He gives me those vibes. Yukimura, I think Yukimura's a beta. Submissive beta, let's go. Zola is like submissive omega. Submissive omega comes, and we have repeats. Okay. That's all the playable characters. Do we have, like... I mean, I guess there's, like, some of the side characters, like Killmon. The Fates characters. They don't have Shura on here? Okay, Shura's not on this one, I guess. I guess we'll use the second Xander, or the second Jacob to represent Shura. Dominant Omega. Ryoma, Hinoka. I'm scrolling through the wiki to make sure that it has everybody. Can't believe they missed Shura. Reina. I think we got all the, like, the Conquest characters and Birthright characters. They don't have Azana or Fuga on here either. This doesn't even have all of the playable characters. Why did I pick this one? Okay, Azana, either way, Omega. Fuga, dominant beta. They got all the kid characters. I'm not doing all the playable bosses, screw that. Alright, I'll do Ice Daddy as well. Ice Daddy gives me dominant Omega vibes. This Xander is representing Ice Daddy. Real Xander, Ice Daddy. Okay, I think that's all of the characters that I care enough about to tier list. So if I ever forget, I have this video. Rajat's right here. I put her in either way beta. Yeah, so okay, so the dominant alphas of Fates are like almost entirely women. And so are... I'm sorry, how many women did I make alphas? Hold on. I wanna tally up the proportions here. Give me 1 second. 8 speeds us with beautiful and powerful women. I know. I'm so happy that the final round of the Bangability tournament is literally I would be happy with any of those women winning at this point. Omegas, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, no, Forrest is a man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 3. I almost counted Takumi as a woman. And many cute twinks, yes! Okay, alpha men. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we wound up with 16 alpha women, 7 beta women, and 12 omega women. And we wound up with 14 alpha men, 10 beta men, and 16 omega men. So it's actually not as uneven as it looks at first glance. But anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We'll get Mozu and Chapter 10 next time, and after that, I guess we'll see. So anyways, if you want to be alerted to the next time I go live and you're not already following me, go ahead and drop me a follow. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Peace.